Hi guys, Varun here from Phone and guess what I have here? The all new Google Nexus 5 made by LG for an unboxing here at Phone Arena. The LG Nexus 5 is probably first landed at the Phone Arena HQ here in India, and we're going to be showing you what is inside the Google Nexus 5. And we're kind of happy to show around the device to you on the retail package. So this is the UK version we have right here. And not much is different between the US version and the UK version except for the LTE bands and probably the power adapter. So we got it from the UK for about equivalent to roughly about 30,000 rupees or under that. So it's even more cheaper in the US, but because it's billed in US dollars, but in the UK it's charged in pounds, so it's slightly expensive. But yes, this is the Nexus 5 retail package. We have a white one here, which is supposed to be very attractive compared to the black one. So let's quickly take around look around the box. Nothing really fancy here. This looks very much similar to the Nexus 7 2013 box, blue all around, and not much similar to the Nexus 4 retail box, which came last year. That was in all black and gray. So this is the Nexus 4 retail box next to the Nexus 5 retail box, and nothing else here apart from the 16 GB white UK model with the LTE, GSM and 3G bands mentioned here. So that's the box. So let's get rid of this flap on the outside. This says Nexus 5 on the back, nothing else, not even on the front but on the back. So it's all sealed here. So white box here, very similar to the Nexus 7 2013 box. So let's quickly get rid of the tape here. Pretty much excited to unbox this guy here. Nexus 5, been creating a lot of rounds of news on the internet, leaked very heavily, pretty much leaked every day. A new leak was emerging from on the internet. So finally have it here. So let's go ahead and open it. So let's check it out. So here we have the white Nexus 5, which has a white earpiece, which is kind of funny, but let's take it out. Wow, feels really great to hold, pretty lightweight, and actually the battery is sealed as well. So the white also has like a black front, and the earpiece here, nothing else is actually white, and only the back is kind of white. The Nexus branding here, very similar to the Nexus 7 as well. The Nexus 4 also had it. So let's quickly put the Nexus 4 next to it. So Nexus 4 was slightly smaller. So this has almost a 5-inch screen. That's the main story here, but still kind of easy to hold in like one hand. So let's put the phone aside for a second and take a look at what is in the box. So let's quickly take a look at what's here. So seems like something's here, nothing's here. So here we have a SIM ejector pin, very similar to the one found on the Nexus 7 and also the Nexus 4. Pretty fancy micro SIM ejector tool. The Nexus 5 also uses a micro SIM slot, not a nano SIM slot. So here we have like how to turn it on and all that. So wall charging, safety and warranty, and you get the wall adapter here. So this is the UK version, so you have the UK plug, 3-pin plug. For the US version, you'll have the US 2-pin, and for the Europe, you'll have the corresponding one. India, probably you'll have the European version. So here we have the micro USB cable, standard micro USB. So the Nexus 5 is actually also made by LG, very similar to the Nexus 4. So, and guess what? There's no headphones. This is again also similar to the Nexus 4. The Nexus 4 never came with any headphones in the box. Probably a cost-cutting measure to keep the phone cheap. Pretty affordable. So it's priced at about $299 for the 16 GB version and $349 for the 32 GB version. So pretty well priced in the US. It's coming to India as well, about 29,000 for the 16 GB version and about 33,000 for the 32 GB version. So it's coming soon to India, and actually Google announced it's coming to India. So let's quickly take a look at the device itself. Let's quickly give you a tour about the device. So let's power it on. So you have the power button on the side. So the good thing about the device, the Nexus 5, is that the buttons are kind of made of ceramic. Feels really nice. It had a nice touch to the device. So you have the ceramic buttons for the power lock switch and also the volume rocker. So that's a nice touch. So let's quickly power on the device, hoping there's some battery juice left. So let's get rid of this plastic film on top of the screen, and the smell of new like a phone. Pretty nice to get our hands on the Nexus 5 really soon. It's booting up, and the Nexus 5 is actually the first Android phone to ship with Android 4.4 KitKat, which is the latest version of Android. The update is still not rolled out to other Nexus devices and other Android devices. Will be rolled out soon, but we're going to be taking a look at Android KitKat 4.4 on the Nexus 5 as well. We already gave you an overview of the KitKat features in a separate video. Do look at that if you want to take a look at the 4.4 features. So this is actually taking a while to boot. So yes, it's booted up now. So let's go ahead and give an OK. So it says SIM card is not found, and I'm not sure, there's no skip option here, so probably it's a must to connect to Wi-Fi. Quickly go ahead and connect to the Wi-Fi network. So it's downloading an update now. I don't know why there's a compulsory update being downloaded. Actually, one of the retailers in the UK, Clove, had written about this, saying the Nexus 5 requires a mandatory update once you power it on. Not a huge fan of this. The phone is pretty much useless without downloading the update. You couldn't even skip the connect to Wi-Fi screen, which is normally possible on any Android device. So you can't actually use it if you're not having a fast internet connection and able to download this update. So it says about 5 minutes to go. So let's see how long does it take. So while it goes goes to this phase, we'll probably take a look around the hardware. So the Nexus 5 is powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 processor running at about 2.2 GHz, and it's got about 2 GB of RAM, and it's got a 4.95 inch screen, and it's a pretty beautiful screen, very nice to look at, and it's available in kind of black and white. The only difference is the back portion, and there's a nice 8 megapixel camera along with optical image stabilization for the first time on a Nexus device, and there's a small LED flash as well. The camera module kind of looks huge on the back, so that's something. And the battery on the inside is only a 2300 mAh battery, but then the processor is supposed to be very power efficient, and there's some new features which enable very low power consumption, so that should be interesting to try out. And that's the camera on the back. And there's also new HDR plus feature on the Nexus 5, which is part of Android 4.4 as well. So on the front you have a camera as well, which is a 1.3 megapixel camera, and on the side you have the ceramic button for the power lock, and you also have the micro SIM ejector, like micro SIM tray. You can eject it with the tool. So that's the tray on the side. So there's nothing else on the right side, and on the bottom you have the dual speakers here. Seems to be some kind of protective film over here. Let's get rid of it. Seems like some plastic protective film. I think this is probably something Samsung was doing before. LG is doing that as well. And dual loudspeakers, like you have a stereo speaker sound, and there's a micro USB. It's also something called slim port as well, and seems to have the same plastic film on the right on this side as well. So let's get rid of that. And this is the volume rocker here, and the single button feels like a single button. So apart from that, there's nothing on the left side. On the top you have again film here. Let's get rid of that. And you have a microphone here and a 3.5mm audio jack, and that's pretty much it. So the system update has been downloaded now, so let's go ahead and install it. So it's finally completed the installation of the update and kind of booting up now. So let's see how the KitKat finally looks on the Nexus 5. So it's kind of interesting that the update didn't even, like the requirement for installing the update didn't even let us go into the phone itself with the first boot. Kind of disappointed by it, but then yes, can't help it. At least we hope it would work after installing the update. So let's wait for a bit for the phone to boot up. So here we have it, the home screen of the Google Nexus 5 running Android 4.4 KitKat. beautiful transparent bar at the bottom here, translucent area, and the display is so crisp. The text and the icons looks really nice in the nice to the eyes. So let's quickly check the Android version here. So it says Android 4.4 KitKat, doesn't say anything here. So let's go ahead and see if we can see the KitKat branding here. So yes, it says K. So it kind of gives us dance, and I don't know what else is going to happen. So yeah, so that's Android 4.4 with the KitKat design. Nestle is kind of tied up with Google for this thing. So that's about it. So let's check out something else. So let's see what's there in Hangouts this time. So lots of updates being required. So it looks like phone was shipped even before the software was ready. But we have the device, so pretty cool that way. So as you can see, the blue color on the the notification tray and every system wide, especially even the cellular reception, the reception bar and the battery indicator has also been changed to white. The fonts have been changed. So we'll do a separate video comparing the changes between the Nexus, the Nexus 5 UI, the Android KitKat 4.4 with the Nexus 4 probably running still on Android 4.3 Jelly Bean, to give you an idea as to what has changed. So this update is also coming to the Nexus 4, the Google Play Edition devices like the HTC One, Galaxy S4, and also the Nexus 7. It's also coming to the Nexus 10 in a limited way. The Galaxy Nexus is not getting the Android 4.4 update, so that's something. So let's quickly take a look at the free space on the device as well. So this is a 16 GB version unit. So it has about 12.55 GB free space left. And this is after installing the update. Probably it was slightly more free space before installing the update. So there's only that much. So the battery, let's take a look at what's there in the battery. So it says 4 hours 25 minutes, 4 minutes 25 seconds on battery. So let's check that. So it's supposed to have better power management, something called tap and pay here. It's probably NFC. So let's quickly go through the specs of the device once again. So it's got a 4.95 inch beautiful screen, 1080p screen, pretty brilliant in the to look at and to use, and that's the main story here. And it's pretty lightweight, about 130 grams. Feels lighter than the Nexus 4 to a certain extent. The Nexus 4 feels slightly bulkier than the Nexus 5. The Nexus 5 feels lighter, and is also mainly helped by the design. It's a bit narrower compared to the Nexus 4, so, and it also feels easier in the hand to hold, basically because of this curved back compared to the flat back of the Nexus 4. The Nexus 5 has a curved back, makes it easier to grip, and the glass back has been replaced with a matte kind of soft touch back. So that's that, and it's pretty thin as well, at about 8.6 millimeters in terms of thickness. And in terms of the camera, you have an 8 megapixel camera along with image stabilization, along with an LED flash, and there's this new HDR plus feature as well. And on the front you have the so I think I got this up here. No, it was the phone icon. So let me get that back here. So you have a 1.3 megapixel camera on the front, on the top. It's not on the center but on the left, which is kind of interesting. So you have the white loudspeaker grill earpiece there. So that's the difference between the white version and the black version. The black version has a black earpiece. So that's that. Another good thing is that the support finally for 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, which is a faster Wi-Fi, and also Bluetooth 4.0 low energy support is also there on the Nexus 4, but it's there out of the box on the Nexus 5. There's NFC as well, and this is a 16 GB variant. There's also a 32 GB variant, and there's no micro SD card slot expansion, so that's a bummer, but 32 GB is kind of good enough for a phone. So that's that. And then In terms of the LTE, there are two models. So there's one is a North American model which supports T-Mobile, AT&T and all that, but the global version is a different model which supports a different set of LTE bands. So like you must probably purchase an Nexus 5 from whichever country you want to use it on. Like the LTE networks, you should probably take a look at it, and even the 3G bands, most of the bands are supported, like most of the global bands. But the LTE bands, you probably stick to the model in which you want to, like you stick to a model depending on the country you want to use it in. Suppose in case you want to use it in the US, stick to the Nexus 5 sold in the US. If you want to use it in India, probably you can stick to the one sold in India, or in Asia, or even the UK version could probably work over 3G in India. So that's that. And apart from that, mainly the battery. So the battery is still only a small 2300 mAh battery. Although the processor is a quad-core Snapdragon 800 processor, you have a 5-inch screen, the battery is still a sealed 2300 mAh battery, which has kind of drawn a lot of criticism. But still, I think LG and Google claim that the Nexus 5 offers about 17 hours of talk time and about 300 hours of standby time. So you have about 8.5 hours of like Wi-Fi browsing time, and Google is also claiming about 7 hours of LTE talk time. So the good thing is that wireless charging is still integrated in the Nexus 5 like it was on the Nexus 4. So you can use even any Qi based charger to charge the Nexus 5. We'll probably show you a demo in another video about charging the Nexus 5 wirelessly. And apart from that, nothing special here, apart from the fact that it's the only Android phone out there running on Android 4.4 KitKat out of the box. So that's a special thing. And yes, so that was a quick unboxing and overview of the Google Nexus 5, first unboxing in India. So do hit a like if you like our video and appreciate the fact that we got it for you before anyone else. And do subscribe to our channel, and do stay tuned to our channel for other videos about the Nexus 5 and related comparisons and all that. So thanks for watching.